Second. What do you have in there? Is that really Werther's Originals?
No, that's change.
Oh. Well, we're back for a second visit with Marty Hardy. The first visit was back on February 18th of 2006, and today is the 18th of May, 2006. We had a few follow-up things Marty and I had talked about that we wanted to go through. First of all, Marty, one thing we really didn't dwell on too much last time is what accomplishments you're proudest of during your tenure at the News-Record, which we might say was what, from 1979 to about what, 2000, 2001?
2002.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you came up with some new ideas and new ways of doing things.
Well, what I'm proudest of is what is now the destination Lindsborg. It started out as just a tourism piece, and it was tabloid size, and Doreen and I and Mike's staff got together, Doreen Anderson at the Chamber,
right,
and come up with what we thought would most attract people to Lindsborg, and we took it to different information places, and we went with that for about 9 years, and then the people started complaining they wanted slick. No, they wanted magazine size. So we took it down to magazine size with a hard white cover, and that lasted about 2 years, and then they wanted full color. So now we've got way full color, and I'm real proud of it. It looks great, and John and the new crew are doing well. But I think it has helped us immensely. We have people distributing the destination to all points in Kansas and a couple in Oklahoma and one in Nebraska. And it really spreads the word.
Okay, and so I'm sure, though, it also increases the bottom line at the Lindsborg News-Record.
Not a lot.
No?
No, color is really expensive. And it's when it's a wash, we're real happy.
Okay. All right.
I'm also proud of the fact that we got together in 1980, the girls and I. The girls were Lana and Gayleen and Margaret and myself, and decided that the kids, they didn't have anything for kids then, we thought, it's all for the grown-ups. So we had an Easter egg hunt down in South Park. The different merchants gave presents, and we gave them out, and we hid Easter eggs, and it was a good thing. And then it got so big that we wanted someone else to have it. So the city and the college kids took it over from there. So we were proud of that. And then about more than 15 years ago, we still were thinking the kids don't have enough to do. So we started the Tomty Parade, or the Snowflake Parade. So I'm proud of all those things.
And that's held, when is the Tomty Parade?
The first Saturday in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
As kind of a kickoff to the shopping season.
Yeah.
To bring people to town, sure.
Yep. Well, yeah, because moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas come to see their kid in the parade,
Oh, sure.
And we have a pretty reliable Santa here in town. So that's always a good thing.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. And those are two things. And then I'm proud of the Hemschleud. The old Farmer State Bank, Gene Larson, and the News-Record went together and brought in, I knew I'd forget, Charlie Mauser. And he was a person who would give lectures on how to improve your business districts and then have private meetings with the different owners of business. And one day while he was here, Shugren called, Ken Shugren. And he said, we'd like to have a meeting with him. I didn't know who we was because he was at the college and out of town. And we just assumed nobody else knew about it. I said, well, who's we? And he said, well, Ken Swisher. I said, okay. And Swisher was down at the...
Firestone?
No. He was at the implement store in McPherson. And so we arranged it, and they went out of town, and they met and came back, and Mauser said, you'll hear from that again. I said, okay. So about 6 months later, Swisher called and said, can you come over to our house this afternoon? We got a little something to tell you. So I went over, and they had bought, by that time, they had bought the filling station and were in the process of remodeling it to open the Hemschleud. So I kind of feel a little bit of motherhood there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's turned into a very successful business.
Yes, it has. And, of course, Schubin's now retired, so.
Sure. Why don't you pause it for a minute, Jay? Just push the red button again. Well, Marty, speaking of the Lindsborg News-Record, you've been in the newspaper business a long time, but we've got a whole new ball game now. What do you see as the future of newspapers in general and community newspapers in particular, now with the advent of the internet and the cost of publication and that sort of thing?
I don't think you'll ever kill the community newspapers. Some of the big dailies may be hurt, but they'll go on the internet, so they're not going to hurt too bad. But I think everybody will still want their hometown news. I really feel that. And we haven't lost any customers in the last 3 years, so I would think that was some indication.
When you say customers, you mean subscribers?
Subscribers.
Okay, or advertisers, okay.
No, subscribers.
Seems to me, if anything, advertising inches are up from what they...
Well, they are.
Yeah.
They are, thankfully.
Yeah.
And it's pretty healthy right now.
Good. That's good.
So I'm really hopeful for it.
Do you see the day when there's a Lindsborg when we can go on and you can do updates, for instance, if somebody dies after the newspaper's published and their funeral is before the next one?
Yeah.
That sort of thing?
We've got the Lindsborg now, when Destination Lindsborg is on.
Okay.
And that we can just tag it onto that.
Right.
But that takes time and money and people that know how to do it.
Right.
And right now, John and his wife are the only ones, the owner and his wife are the only ones that know how to do all these fancy tricks. So it'll be a while.
Okay.
But the obituaries are one thing that everybody, the minute the paper goes to Junction City, they lay down and die.
Well, I have some people to ask you about.
Okay.
And one of them, I'm going to throw you a curveball here because I didn't ask you about this gentleman last time, but his name was brought up, and that's John Montgomery.
Oh, he's very close to my heart. He loved Lindsborg, and his dad loved Lindsborg. His dad's the one that actually purchased the paper here in the 20s, I think.
Well, he bought it because, I think it was probably later than that, because Henry Weltner owned it.
Yeah, he bought it from Henry.
When I was a kid, but then, yeah. But the reason he bought it is, as I understand, that he loved community newspapers. He didn't want to see them go away.
Yeah.
And that's why he bought Gypsum as well.
Yeah, and a lot of others on down south, Harrington and those papers. But John loved Lindsborg, and he was down here quite a bit. And I loved him. He treated me very well. He treated all of us very well. And he taught me a lot. Funny thing. Went to a National Newspaper Association convention. And it had one of those little cabinets that was full of little bottles of liquor and little cans of beer. And a few of us got together and emptied that thing one night in San Diego. So the bills came in, and I wrote out by the side of that one, "This is mine, John," because I knew he'd have a fit. And he sent it back and said, "You're such a hick." And he paid it.
Well, he did. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, another individual, Arvin Hahn.
Oh, I miss him. He was I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I miss him.
Even though we know that as of this taping, he is still living, but he certainly is not
but
in
he's not
Lindsborg
here.
now. Right.
Yeah. He was a unique individual. He called me one night. Oh, not too long after I got here, a couple of years. And it was on Sunday evening. He said, "Marty, I'd like to see you in my office right tonight."
Huh?
I said, "There's only two things wrong with that. I've got on my nightgown and I don't know where your office is." He said, "Forget that first one. My office is in Presser Hall." And he gave me his resignation that night. It was a big secret to know, and so we kept it secret until the paper came out.
Oh, well, an exclusive.
That's right.
There we go.
He was very savvy. I mean, he knew what to do with publicity.
Now, I have been told by people, and I'm sure there's a difference of opinion on this, but that one of the problems, or not problems, challenges, I guess is a better word, that subsequent presidents have had of Bethany College is that Arvin Hahn left the bar so high that it's been very difficult for anybody else to get there, to even pick up the ball and start running with it from where he had it.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to understand, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's true. It is true. Foremost, I'm still out, you know. He has to leave before we can judge him.
Sure, sure.
But so far, it's okay. I think he's made some very good decisions that looked really bad at the time.
Haven't been popular,
No,
but they have been probably necessary.
pretty successful. Yeah. So I give him credit.
What about Malcolm Esping?
Oh, he was a sweetie. He would come over to the Stuga every day at noon and hold court, you know, and just, if you come in there and said, it's really sunny out there, he'd say, there's a damn cloud over there. Did you see that cloud? You know? He was just an ornery cuss.
We might say that his shop called the Sloyd was right next door to the Stuga
Yeah.
and right across the street from the
News-Record.
Right.
He would come over and hassle us every once in a while, you know. But what an artist. He made beautiful things. He made me I had lost my class ring, so I thought. And when my mother passed away, we brought all her stuff out here. And in a little box in her sewing machine was my class ring.
Oh, no.
She had kept it because she thought I'd give it to some unworthy man, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
And I gave it to Malcolm, and he made a necklace from it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
Now, what about his dealings then at the old mill then?
Oh, he worked his heart out down
At what stage was the old mill restoration when you got here?
It was just about finished.
Okay.
I think they opened it. Didn't they open the new one in 81? I think so. So it was just about ready to open, but I was here in time to hear all the stories about his work and Mary Borg's work, and, you know, everybody about killed themselves down there.
Tib Anderson was another one who worked very hard on it. The gentleman from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, but there was another fellow who was a city councilman for 100 years. He lived right behind House Lumber Company.
Walt Haffermill?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He worked a lot down there too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, he just died recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's over in Marquette. His daughter teaches in Marquette.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Married?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, be darned.
She's married to the mayor of Marquette.
Is that right? Well,
Mary
I'm glad we had this little chat.
I guess that brings up another name. We talked about Marquette. The Marquette Tribune, Nyla Rawson.
Oh. The week before Nyla passed, I saw her over at the Apotec, and she told me, I said, you been doing any dancing lately? And, you know, she's walking with a cane. And she said, no, but my sisters and somebody else are meeting up, and we're going to do some dancing next month. No, in June. And then the next week, she passed away in her sleep.
Very quietly.
Yeah.
And she was the longtime editor of the Marquette Tribune.
Long time. And she wasn't the editor when she passed.
Right, but still advertising person.
Yeah.
Now, for a long time, too, that was printed at the News-Record.
Well, that was before I was
your
here.
time.
Yeah, there was no press there. No newspaper press there when I got here.
Okay. Another name, two names, actually, John and Carol Pearson.
Well, they're just too good of friends for me to comment on. Carol was the strongest woman I ever saw. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had her surgery on Friday. She came to work on Monday. She had her chemo every Friday, threw up every Saturday, and came to work every Monday.
So she worked for you at the News-Record?
Yeah, she sold advertising. And we've sort of set up a barrier. She didn't want a lot of people asking a lot of questions, so we kind of keep her caged in the back room. And she went through her whole chemo with that. It was tough, but she's a tough girl. And John, as far as I'm concerned, is the historian of the county, maybe. Anything I want to know, I used to call Betty, but sometimes she's not there.
That would be Betty Jadabor.
Yep. And I can usually find John. So he is my source.
And of course, you and he would have worked hand in hand in a lot of ways because of Bethany
with
College.
the college, yeah.
He was a publicity person for Bethany College.
Yeah. And he always wrote long, and we made him cut short. And we argued back and forth, but not really. And he was probably the best thing that happened to Bethany after Han left. He kept things rolling.
And he worked also with Dr. Emery Lindquist.
Well, see, that's the real historian.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know Emery's book, Bethany in Kansas, came out here while you were at the Lindsborg News-Record. And what was your relationship with Emery?
It was wonderful. I didn't know who he was, and he'd send me these notes, and he'd say he appreciated the something that I'd written in the paper, and he'd say these really nice things to me, and I didn't know who he was. And he just signed him Dr. Lindquist. I went, okay. No, Emery. So finally Carol was looking at these one day, and she said, "My golly, Marty, do you know who that is?" And I said, "No." And here it was Emery, and he would come up from Wichita and come in the office and sit down and chat for forever. We just had a real strong bond. I've got 3 or 4 of his books, and nobody gets them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Autographed books?
Yeah.
Including Smoky Valley People?
I don't have that. I had it, and somebody loaned it. That's why nobody's getting the others.
Oh, okay. All right. Another person who was quite active in the business community and with the college during your tenure at the Lindsborg News-Record would be Ken Sugarin.
Oh. Well, Ken has been active in anything he's undertaken.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a ball of fire. And I really appreciate what he did with the Hemschloid and how he tried to get the whole community into the spirit of the Hemschloid, and get everybody generated to do more touristy things, and that worked. And while he's at the college, he did wonderful things, but now he's still doing wonderful things. He's babysitting a lot.
But he decided retirement meant retirement. And
Yes.
You have to give him credit for that. He didn't semi-retire, he retired.
Is there a slur there against the
Oh, no.
madam?
No. Well, you're for the most part retired.
Yes.
And you're just doing what you do, and you happen to go in every Sunday and write it up.
That's right.
Okay. Elmer Copley.
He was the funniest man on the block, I thought. He was so serious, and he was so pompous, and that he would tell the awfulest jokes on other people, and when you looked at him, you thought, oh, this guy is really grouchy. And then you talk to him, and you think, this guy's not all there.
He was certainly bigger than life.
Oh, boy. He was so gutsy to go on that podium with his broken foot
I remember that.
when they were televising.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ah. And then he even gave up one Messiah to go hear Rebecca, at her initial debut in New York City.
Oh, okay.
And Dr. What was his name? It said,
Not Higby.
no, it said,
Pels? No.
no, somebody from out of town.
Oh, okay.
Waters or Walters or something. I don't know.
And so for one of the Messiah performances,
Yeah,
Elmer Copley actually was not here. I didn't realize that.
yeah,
I knew that he had a sabbatical one year, at least 1 year,
yeah.
when Henry Veld, who was Copley's professor in college, came in
Oh,
in
really?
1968, because I was in college choir that year. And, in fact, Dr. Veld, just because he was here on sabbatical didn't mean he wasn't going to change things. So he undid a lot of what Copley had already done, and Copley had to do them back again the next year.
I bet he did.
Okay, let's do these two individually. Doreen Anderson, you've already mentioned her name, but
Oh, yeah.
you two had some wild adventures together.
We did, in fact. The Chamber and the News-Record always worked very close together because we wanted the businesses to do well on Main Street. And so we'd dress up in our Swedish costumes and take our little tea rings and coffee pots and go to anything. I mean, we went to anybody's convention. We went to Topeka 2 or 3 times. We went to not Washburn, that other town. Where's the KU?
Oh, in Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Kansas City, and we went down to Wichita. We went out to Goodland. We went to Garden City. Every place. Anytime anyone wanted coffee, we'd give them Swedish coffee and tea rings and this thing that we were printing at the time, which wasn't yet the destination Lindsborg.
Okay.
We left out of here. We were going to a travel show in Topeka for the governor and all the congressmen and representatives. And it was snowing. And we had my old pickup, and it got hot. Let's see, we put cardboard in front of the radiator so it wouldn't freeze, and then it got hot.
Mm.
And Doreen was in the car ahead of me. And we're right out in the outskirts of Junction City going uphill when it decided it wasn't going any further. And so I'm off the road, and Doreen's, and they said, I wonder how long it's going to be before she realizes we're not behind her. About that time.
Oh, she passed you.
Yeah, she was ahead of us.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Not too long ago, too long had passed until here she comes in reverse.
Down the interstate?
Down the interstate.
Oh, no.
Then when we got to the show, there was ice everywhere. And Ann Gottberg and Becky Anderson and Doreen and me and one other person, I don't remember now. But we were setting up the booth and we were carrying all this stuff in, and there's slushy mud and ice. And so we had all kinds of help from our delegation. The men would come out and help us carry it out and help us carry it back to the truck at night. So that was an experience that we had, one of them. But we worked together a lot, and we're still the best of friends.
And she was the director of the Chamber of Commerce, but certainly wasn't in it for the money, was she?
Oh, no. And she knew how to stretch a chamber dollar till it squeaked. I swear, that woman. She was a magician.
Well, then Don Anderson, her husband, and also a longtime mayor.
I always got along real well with Don because he always brings me beets out of his garden.
Oh, well.
So I can't say anything bad about him. No, I thought he did a fine job as mayor. I'm sorry that he decided to give it up, actually. He made a good impression with the visiting Swedes that came here, and then he went overseas and was a good representative for us. And he took Doreen, which was a good idea, because she's very, very friendly and outgoing. So I think he did a great job, and he'd done a pretty good job with his kids. So now they're both retired, and they just spend all their time running from one kid to the next.
Well, that's good.
Yes, it is.
And of course, he's from an old-time Lindsborg family, and we're going to delve into that in another oral history, into the Dave and Carl B. Anderson families. Okay, Max and Marie Muller.
Better take those separately, too.
Yes.
I didn't know Marie except to speak to her until Max was bedridden and living at his home. And then we became fast friends. Barney was working with hospice.
And again, Barney.
Barney is Hurlbut was my friend at the time. And so he would go sit with Max, and I'd go sit with Marie. And Barney played the piano, and Max knew that. And about 4 days before he died, he said, "Get me to yonder recliner." We went, okay. He hadn't been out of bed, for 2 or 3 weeks. But we got him in the recliner. He said, "Now strike up Old Man River."
Hmm.
So Barney played Old Man River, and Max sang it with the gusto of a performing artist on any stage.
My goodness.
We got it taped. We have that. So that was cool.
You might, for those of who don't know who Max Muller is, give a little bit of his background and who he was, where he had come from. And hadn't he been on Broadway?
Not well.
Or in New York?
He'd gone to New York,
yeah.
and he had gone to several auditions, and had sung in a couple Broadway shows, and then he got this horrible eye disease, and he couldn't do it any longer. So he came back, and I think he was always mad at himself for that.
Mm.
He was always, grouchy and not very personable to the general public. You had to be at a certain level for him to recognize you. And so I always got as far away from him as I could. And when he was sick and I was in there, he said, "Yonder newspaper girl, come here, I have a story." He was funny. He was, on heavy dope.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't even tell the stories he'd tell. And he was a good artist. But he hated himself. That's one of his paintings.
Oh, really?
We got it out of the trash.
My goodness.
He'd paint them and then he'd throw them away.
We'll go ahead and take a shot of that later, Jay. We'll get a head-on shot of it. We'll need to remember to do that, though. Did Max direct any shows with Broadway RFD?
Oh, yeah, he started Broadway RFD.
Oh, I know, but I mean when you were here.
No.
Okay.
I never got to see him direct. He wrote, he was the reviewer for Messiah and for the shows for us.
Okay.
Beautiful. Oh, I mean, they were better than the shows. His reviews.
The reviews.
Oh, God, yeah. And he just finished a really classic review for Messiah when he got real ill and shortly died.
We might say that the genesis of Broadway RFD was actually the Saturday night entertainment for the Hillingsfest in 1959.
Yeah.
And they expanded it. I think it was Friday and Saturday night that year. And they produced Annie Get Your Gun, as I recall. Mm-hmm. And, of course, that was in October. And then the following summer, a group got together, the same group that had put on Annie Get Your Gun, and founded Broadway RFD and used the band shell in Swenson Park. And Max was the original director and was for a number of years and did some fabulous shows. And
he can, I don't know if he ever sang here.
They did actually an opera one year, Pagliacci. I think he did sing. He was in, and I think he would play parts in some of the other shows too. He may have been the Wizard of Oz. I don't remember. But they did the Wizard of Oz.
I don't have a clue. That was all before him. I've got most of his old programs and his marked up scripts.
Oh, yeah?
Marie gave me.
Well, then Marie, she worked at the hospital.
Yes, she was the mother at the hospital. She not only worked at the hospital, but she'd run the hospital. And if anybody come in there that had a sad story that needed a job, she'd find something for them to do. She helped a lot of people, aside from her nursing things. And she had made a pact with Dr. Fuller. They were both not going to have any assistance. What do they call it?
Do not resuscitate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not do anything. And she found out that she was going to have dialysis 3 times a week. And I governed that. I found somebody to take her all 3 times if I couldn't myself, either Barney or some of the other people in town.
She would have to go where to have the...
Salina.
The Salina, okay.
And she got kind of a terse little card from Doc Fuller saying, "Why are you putting yourself through this?" Oh, I thought that was a little cold. But Marie and I were the closest of friends. I think about her a lot. She was ornery. She's still a Cubs fan up there on the hill. Yeah, I can hear her.
Is she buried at the Smoky Hill Cemetery? She and Max both?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, she's a Cubs fan and a Democrat. And you don't talk about either one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those. You mentioned Barney, and he was your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And even to the point that you have a double headstone that you will be sharing someday.
Yep.
And Barney was a doctor, and I think you told us before he came from Hawaii.
Yeah. He originally was from West Virginia and got his doctor's degree and the family moved to Connecticut. Then he spent time in the Navy as a doctor. And then he had private practice in Connecticut for a while. And then he got this offer of a job in Hawaii. And he was there for 20-some years, OBGYN. And then after he retired from that, he was head of Planned Parenthood for the state of Hawaii.
Oh, well.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And he got tired of it. He said he hated to get up in the morning and know it was going to be 80 degrees and the sun was going to shine. I said, well, you certainly made that.
Sure.
Yeah. You got through with that when you came to Kansas.
Yeah.
But he, then while he was here, he worked with hospice. And he even practiced some at the county health service, but he was not pleased with that. Yeah. He just didn't really want to do it anymore.
Well, he really fell in love with Lindsborg.
Oh, yeah. When he came here to visit his cousin, who's Jane Bremeyer in McPherson, she brought him up to Lindsborg and showed him around. She said, you don't want to go back to Connecticut, was where he was leaving for. And he went in and talked to the president of the college. And that would have been the one died right.
Risteban?
Yeah, Dr. Risteban. And he came out of there and said, well, I'm looking for a house. And so he found one and moved there. And then the way we were acquainted, they came in with a big story on hospice to the newspaper. And then they invited me to lunch, and then the rest is history.
And he indeed then left that house to Bethany College.
Yes, he did, and he left his grand piano to Bethany College.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's up in the practice, not in the practice room, but it's in the Dean of Music.
Now, you and he used to take trips to, was it Maine?
Yes, we took trips to Maine every summer because his sister and her husband had a camp right on the waterfront in Lubec, Maine. It was wonderful, and they have a music school there. And so Barney would go take lessons, piano lessons at the music school, and his sister would go take vocal lessons. And we just had a great time there. But we also took jazz cruises. We took 2 jazz cruises, and they were both great. We took his sister on one of them with us, and she had a blast. It was just great. And then we took a cruise to Alaska. And then I went to his 50th reunion at Yale.
Oh, my.
And his 55th at Yale. And that was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Met some really nice people. And we had a good time. But then we were in Maine, and he had trouble swallowing, and found out it was cancer of the esophagus. And when they gave him the old treatment, not chemotherapy, the other.
Radiation?
Radiation. Mm-hmm. They just burned his esophagus clear out. He never was able to eat seriously anymore. It was all very soft foods, and he had no taste. Taking the taste out. Oh, yeah.
That'd be awful.
It was a terrible death, and it stretched out for 2.5 years.
Oh, my.
And then he had one of those agreements, do not resuscitate.
Right.
And he just lay there and starved to death. And, it was just awful. But I couldn't do anything about it. If I'd had my head on, I would have had a malpractice suit against the doctor that did the...
Oh.
Because she bragged, nobody ever comes back for seconds on me.
Oh.
I make sure I get it the first time. Yeah.
She took more.
They're not able to get back.
Yeah. That's too bad. You have had, let's get one more local person involved here. Dr. Dwayne Fredrickson.
Oh, well, he's a sweetie. He has so many interests. He's such an interesting guy. I mean, he personally wants to take care of Coronado Heights. He's up there picking up trash and mowing and whatever needs to be done up there. And he's a dancer with the folk danslag, and he enjoys that. You can tell when they're really dancing, he is having a ball, and his wife too, Nancy. And he's a good doctor, and he's a friend to so many people here in town.
And of course, the Smoky Valley Historical Association, he's quite active in.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So he's a good one to have around.
Oh, yes.
If we can keep him.
Well, I think that's probably a foregone conclusion now. You know, he's been here 30-some years.
But he may retire.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, well, absolutely. Now, you've had a couple of brushes with greatness since you've been at the Lindsborg News-Record. You're on a first-name basis with Marlon Fitzwater, for instance.
Yes, I am.
Why don't you tell us who Marlon Fitzwater is and what the connection is?
Well, Marlon was the
Press secretary.
Press secretary to Ronald Reagan and to George W. Bush. And
George H.W. Bush.
George H.W.
Yeah, number one.
41.
41. There we go.
And while he was there, Mrs. Shammerhorn came up and said, "Do you know that he used to be here at the News-Record?" And I went, "No." And I didn't believe her. And she said, "Oh, yes. He was here a whole summer when..."
Well, Weltmer owned the paper.
Yeah, when Weltmer owned the paper. And she said, "Got the poor guy down here." And Weltmer just walked out and said, "Well, you know how to do everything, young. Do it." And I thought, wow. So I called the White House. And he got right on the phone. And we've been talking ever since. And anytime I wanted to ask him a question or invite him down here, or we've had him down here for 2 book signings, I just call the White House. And one time he even told him to hold the press conference because he had a phone call. And it was me, and the press conference was, big time. So we've just had that kind of a relationship. And when he comes here, he just has such a good time because he knows so many people. He dated a gal from here. And
he played tennis with Bryce Young.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did. And he lived with... the art gallery down on South Main.
Well, the Ramers.
No.
No?
Souther.
Well,
Across the...
Pearson?
Mm-hmm.
Anton Pearson?
Anton Pearson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He stayed with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the young kids were always there. They were good friends, Pearsons and
Sure.
their dad.
We might say that he was actually an intern here for the summer from K-State.
Yes.
He was attending K-State at the time, and he's originally, I think, from Abilene.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And he wrote an article about me.
Uh-oh.
And he also wrote some very interesting feature articles about various things having to do with Lindsborg, about ghosts down on Main Street when the lamplighter would go out and light the gas lights at night. And also there was a hermit who lived by the river out south of town in an old abandoned school bus, and he wrote an article about him. He would do some digging and find some very interesting information.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. Now he's just, he was working with the TV show.
The West Wing.
West Wing. But it's gone now, so
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. He's married now, and they live in Maryland,
Oh.
just across the border. And he sounds very content.
Well,
I've talked to him in the last 6 months.
Sure.
And, I wrote to him when the Russian was coming.
Oh, okay. Gorbachev.
And he said, no, he can be very cantankerous. I said, that's what we've heard from everyone. So then when Gorby was here and left, I called him back and I said, "You're wrong. He's a big old sweet grandpa."
And that's what Gorbachev was, too.
Yes, he was. And is.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, one more brush with greatness. Wynton Marsalis.
Ah.
Marsalis.
Yes. Wynton came here first as a part of the Kansas Arts program and performed at Bethany. And he held master classes. Well, I'd asked him for an interview, and he said, okay, 2 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to leave, the bus is leaving at 3. And he said, I'll be down there. So 2 o'clock came, and I got a phone call. And went and said, no, 2 o'clock came and went, and so did 2:30. And went and called and said, I don't have time to do it justice. I ran over time on the master class. I'll call you as soon as I get to New York. And I said, right, okay. Well, he got to New York the next evening, and he called. And then he was back out here again, and of course everybody was ready for him then. He was just, everybody loved him. And a couple had him over to the house, had the group over to the house for dinner. And she made lasagna. She made 2 of them. Well, they ate dinner, and they had the lasagna and the salad and the dessert and everything. Then they went to the concert. And the couple come home, and they're getting ready to go to bed, and the phone rings, and it was Wynton. He said, can we come over and have some leftovers? So I teased him about that.
Sure.
And then he had a book signing, and I bought one of them to give to Barney. And it was about Valentine's Day. And so I said, sign this to Barney. And he said, Happy Valentine's Day. Love, Wynton and Marty.
We might say that for those who are watching this 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, that Wynton Marsalis is a member of a very prominent musical family from New Orleans. And he is a jazz trumpeter, correct?
And he's the director of the New York City jazz program at the Arts Council, I think it is. But he's the head doo-doo there.
And at the end of August of 2005, which is not that many months ago, of course, his hometown was inundated by a flood, which is New Orleans. And have you heard from him since that time? Have you talked to him?
I haven't talked to him, but he's done several fundraisers for New Orleans. He's the only one, I think, that got the old piano player, Blueberry Hill guy.
Fats Domino.
He's the only one that's got Fats Domino to perform since then.
Ah.
Fats has been scheduled, and he always just gets up there and says, I'm not able to do it, but he did it for Wynton.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So he's still doing good.
Well, that's good. Well, I think that we're covering things pretty well here. I guess some random things. We talked about the old mill. You were at the News-Record when Lindsborg's water vastly improved.
Oh, yes.
You remember what the water used to taste like when you first got here?
And what it looked like. It looked like my iced tea. Yes. Lots of improvements. Our streets are so much better. The electricity, boy. Every time the wind blew, power was out. Well, now they've got a program of tree trimming and upgrading the power stations, and that's been going on for several years, and it's really helped with the...
What about the other services, fire department, EMS, police department? Have you seen a change, an improvement in those over the years?
Well, the EMS has always been very, very good. The police have been and I think right now we're better than we have been. And
I know you've been critical of the police department from time to time in the
seldom
pages of the News-Record.
Seldom.
But you have been.
Oh, yeah. Well, they deserved it. But the fire department is great. I can't imagine being on that fire department and jumping out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and jumping on a fire truck. I just amazed at them. It's and I had one incident where I smelled gas in here, and they were here in 3 minutes. I said, well, "Did you sleeping down at the station?" And I think everything's improved, and I know the hospital has just gone bonkers. They are wonderful over there. I can't say enough good about them. We got a good staff of doctors and nurses. So that's about it for improvements.
Well, Marty, I want to thank you for round 2.
Yes. Oh, when I take a pill, maybe I'll remember something else.
Well, there we go. All right. All right. Thank you, Jay. And I think
I'm gonna get that picture of the painting.
He'll probably do it with a handheld.
She helped me get out of the shower, but I couldn't sit down. It hurt too bad. So they called the ambulance and took me to Army Hospital. And they said, later in life this will give you some real trouble.
Now, the last time you mentioned that he moved here with you.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he was here about 3 years.
And then you got a divorce after that. Is he still living then?